Welcome to I Heart Star Wars So Much. I'm Matthew Rybel, and I heart Star Wars so much. When the Star Wars The Clone Wars cartoon series debuted, it did so as a feature-length animated film that was released in theaters. Remember, this was way back in 2008, and Star Wars wasn't dead per se, but the last Star Wars content of widespread significance came back in 2005 and was a little film called Revenge of the Sith. At first, I was excited about new Star Wars content, even after the roller coaster ride that was the prequels. Though I will say, I did feel quite wary. Now, I said most widespread significance. Widespread. A lot of people don't even know about the best piece of Star Wars fiction to come out since 1980. Yeah, I know that's before Return of the Jedi and all the novels and comics and video games. And a lot of it was fantastic. But moving pictures? And Star Wars? Forget about it. You had 8 movies, count the original trilogy, the prequels, and the 2 Ewok films. More on those in another vlog. And then came the Clone Wars. Not the 2008 Clone Wars. I'm talking about the 2003 Clone Wars. The really good one by Genndy Tartakovsky. You know Gendy's work. Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, and oh yeah, Samurai Jack. Good old Genndy. Genndy? Genndy? Anyhow, yeah, after the prequels, I, like most Star Wars fans, thought that was it. That was Star Wars. 8 movies, some books, comics, video games. Not that that was anything to scoff at, but, I mean, come on. I don't think I'm alone in saying that I wanted more. So much more. Then Tartakovsky's Clone Wars came out. If you haven't seen it, you really should. You can find it online and stuff. Go do it. Google the stuff. You're a grown-up, I assume. Google it. So, when the new Star Wars The Clone Wars was announced in 2008, my first thought was, didn't we just do this? We just did this. We did a thing. Tartakovsky's Clone Wars was beautiful, and now, what? We were just gonna toss it aside for this new thing? I remember going into the theater feeling very uneasy. And this was back during the Movie Guys podcast, which I co-hosted with Scott Labrie. We actually reviewed it on our show, and I hope that Dave Filoni never sees it. Not that he would, but it would be embarrassing and probably make me feel bad for Dave to hear my mean words. I hated the Clone Wars when it came out. Where do I start? The animation style. I was not sold on it at first, and I know that isn't a big thing, but whatever. I didn't like it. The introduction of a Padawan for Anakin. Let's start there. What the fuck? Seriously, the idea of assigning Anakin, who was not a Jedi Master, by the way, he's barely a knight, and you're giving him a Padawan during wartime? It just seemed ludicrous to me. And if that's where my confusion and frustration ended, that would have been sucky, but not wholly unexpected. But to make the Padawan a 15-year-old girl? I don't know. Why would the Jedi Council send a 15-year-old girl to apprentice under the most controversial knight in their ranks during wartime? I couldn't understand it. And then came the moment she called Anakin Sky Guy. I almost walked out of the theater. I haven't watched my review of the Clone Wars movie in a while, mainly because I feel shame. Fast forward a few years to the Disney purchase of Lucasfilm, and the Clone Wars gets cancelled to make way for a new show. Kathleen Kennedy relegates all the books in the EU to the new Legends header. Clone Wars is made canon. That's when I decided to suck it up, fat boy, and watch the Clone Wars so you know what the heck is going on in this newly minted canon. I could, and have, spend hours expressing to you in a myriad ways with an equal number of viable reasons as to why Clone Wars is so freaking good. I won't. Not in this video. If you watch the vlog, you know how much I love the Clone Wars. I mention it all the freaking time. Instead of suck its dick, instead of shower it with more adoration, I wanted to tell you how much I absolutely hated it when it first came out, to give you some perspective on my gushing love for it now. If you heart Star Wars, watch The Clone Wars. It's on Netflix. Watch it. Trust me. I'm Matthew Rybel, and I heart Star Wars so much. Until next time, may the Force be with you. I love you, Dave.